All right, hello everybody, and welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to the Beyond the Baller podcast. We're so excited to have Allie Hall with us today. Welcome, Allie.
Hello, hello.
Welcome, Allie.
So just a little bit of an intro to who Allie is. Allie was born in Park Ridge, Illinois. She won a national championship with Eclipse Select Soccer Club. Congrats, that's amazing. She graduated from Stevenson High School. She went on to play at the University of Tennessee, which is a Division One college in the SEC, and she was a 4-year starter. She appeared in 70 matches, and she even earned all SEC second team honors as a senior, anchoring a UT backline that posted 11 shutouts and a .69 goals allowed average that at that time was the best in program history. That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. You're like, dang, did I do that?
Yeah, she doesn't even know.
She's like,
That's
shoot.
bad.
She's like, I kind of played that. So although I read this about you that you were in youth national team camps for the United States. But you also had one cap for Honduras at the senior level during the 2014 CONCACAF Women's Championship qualification. I'm excited to hear more about that because I actually didn't know that. So I was really excited to read about that. And now she plays for the USA Women's Beach Soccer National Team with me, which has been so fun. And she's been a 2-time player of the year, and she is the captain of the beach national team. And now she resides in San Francisco and is a director of the 9v9 side at Girls Unite Soccer Club. So Allie obviously has had so much experience in the game of soccer on the grass and the beach. And your story, I know, is super incredible, not just with the stats, but you have so many ins and outs of different things you've gone through and how you got to where you are today. So we're super excited to hear more about that.
Well, thank you for that introduction.
What
You're
an
telling me
intro.
I didn't even know. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, Tennessee seems like so long ago.
My gosh. Yeah. So to get started, I guess obviously I read off all of these amazing things, but maybe you can kind of touch on all of these things. So starting with maybe club soccer or even how you started playing and kind of go through your career and the different decisions it took to get to each spot that you were at and how you got to where you are today.
Okay. Okay, I'll start with club. So I was born and raised in the Chicagoland area. No one knows what Park Ridge, Illinois is. So you know what Illinois is? It's Illinois, and it's Chicagoland area. Yeah, I played for Eclipse Select, which I don't, did you play against Eclipse?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did when I was younger, actually. They're
You're
good.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. We were definitely a very good club, like number one in the country at one point. I don't even know at this point like where club soccer is with all of that because there's so many changes. But we went to 3 national championship finals and
Wow.
we won. I think it was U15 or something. We won the national championship there. And then we went again when it was like U17 and we lost in PKs against the Dallas Texans. And then we went to another one at like the one right before college, I think, older. And again, we lost in PKs against this like California team.
Oh no.
And it stays in the heart and soul. But
Oh my gosh.
yeah, and it was before
Cool.
ECNL too. It was like you played in a state cup, and then like the winners of state cup went to regionals, and you had like a whole tournament regionals, like for your region 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you met at nationals with 4 teams, and you had a round robin national championship. That
Wow.
was the way. That
Oh
was the way. It was so fun.
That was the way of the world.
That was the way where there's no ECNL. Like, there's just so many things now. I don't even know how a national championship comes about.
So true. Yeah, there's so many
Yeah.
different like levels of play. Like you have ECNL, DPL, NPL. Like I know.
NPL, MPL 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, so many different levels. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that Eclipse was my whole life was soccer when I was younger. I got to dabble in some other sports and stuff, but I mean, that's like you live, breathe, eat that. Like you don't go to dances. Like I think I went to maybe 2 school dances my whole like high school career. I was in and out of national team youth camps like until I was about 17 or so. That was a great experience. Like I was like being flown over to Carson, California. That's when I was like, I want to move to California because I was like, this is amazing here. And I lived in the Midwest. It's so flat. So like while I was doing the club stuff, I was also traveling for youth national team events, which was really cool in camps.
With the club stuff, so how did you get recognized to be in the youth national team camps? Was it from like different tournaments you were in and they just called you in, or how did that work?
Well, we did ODP, and the ODP was really popular back then. Like the top players and everyone, you were doing that in your club. And so like we'd be like with ODP, like even for regional team, like they'd be flying us out to like Boston and stuff to go to regional camps. And then from those camps, they would send you a letter, not an email, a letter in the mail telling you that you made the national team pool of players. And then they would like send you a bunch of gear and then fly you out. So you'd be noticed through the ODP camps.
Okay, gotcha.
And stuff and tournaments, of course. Like when you play for a big club team, it's just like the showcases. Like there's national team coaches there, and yeah, and I kind of think I got chosen from that.
Okay.
And what did your like recruitment process for college look like? Did you want to go to Tennessee? How did that all come about?
Yeah, well, it's actually a funny story. So back then, again, I'm sure they send letters still, right, in the mail, but we would just get a bunch of letters from team or from colleges that were interested. We did not have email yet. I'm not joking, I'm pretty sure, or I was just not there.
Really dating yourself.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm dating myself really
Midwest.
hard, but I'm okay. There was email, okay,
A
like
pigeon would bring all of their recruitment.
okay, I'm
That's
not
the only way they could get a
fictional.
hold of Allie. Everyone else had email.
House line. I had a light up phone house line for sure. Um, no, we did have email, but I remember just getting all these letters in the mail, and we did do a bunch of showcases, and like there's just like we would just go through them. They're like trying to recruit and like doing like these unofficial visits, and then they would, call our coaches who would call us and be like, okay, you should go and visit this school, So I had 2 schools that I was assigned between at the end of the day, and it was Santa Clara, and Santa Clara was like a big dream of mine, and Tennessee. And I went to visit both. Like I went, like had a chat with Jerry there and like saw the campus. I'm like, this is awesome. Like obviously it's Santa Clara, like you're a kid, you ever watched Bennett like Beckham? That was like, I'm like, yeah. I'm about to like walk at my parents and be like, see you later, going to Santa Clara. But then I went to Tennessee, and like I can't even describe the feeling when I went there. Like it's a big school compared to Santa Clara, and it's like has the football, and it has like because there's football and like basketball and those big sports, there's like a lot of money in the program. And so with soccer, you have your own stadium, like because there's only women's soccer there, and locker rooms and game rooms, and the fields were amazing, like Bermuda sand, like under the grass. Like I'm not joking, like it was amazing. And it was so like female sports orient, like they were very like progressive and like wow, like women's sports is high level. And like they had Pat Summit there. I think that's what started because they were winning national championships with basketball team. So then women's athletics was just seen like very highly, and it was so attractive to me. And then the coach at the time, Ange Kelly, she totally got me. She just swooned it on in. She was like, you can make a difference here. Like, why go somewhere else if you can make a difference here? And I was like, that's just who I am. I'm like, I want to make a difference somewhere. Like this team's already good, and now this team, they're good, and I want like if I can come here and make it even better, like heck yeah. And then plus like the facilities, and I was sold on Tennessee, and that's where I ended up going. And I don't regret it one bit. It was incredible experience.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So during your time at Tennessee, so obviously I saw you had 70 appearances, which is amazing. What was your main position?
I played a little holding mid, but and my main position was a center back. Yeah.
Classic 6 to the center back move.
Oh, totally. Well, it's interesting because like, you know, positions are so interesting to me. And this is why I love beach so much, because like in the 11v11 game, you kind of get pigeonholed into something. You get pigeonholed into, okay, I'm gonna be a center back, but I was also center back that like loves to dribble up a little bit. And I have like that part of me. And then I'm like having the attacking and the defensive side. But this is where I am because I'm trusted here and I have like this like mentality that other player, like being on defense. Cheyenne, you play on defense, right?
Yeah, center back.
Like the mentality is different from other players. It
For sure.
is like
I don't have that
players don't
mentality.
like to defend, but like it is like you have this like different cutthroat thing, and there's more pressure and there's leadership that comes in that, and like being able to see the field differently. And when your coaches trust you, you go there, and that's great. And I took it full on. I'm like, I'll just have a diversity of like, I'm not just like gonna sit here. I can have like this attacking mindedness. So when I went to beach, I was like, oh, like I can finally bring out, I love to like shoot good in the like, all these different things that I didn't get to necessarily bring out in that position because you're kind of like stuck in ways.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, oh my gosh, like all of my like senses of soccer that I actually am good at, I get to bring out now again. And it's like joyful, even more joyful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's
Yeah.
when you guys are playing beach, like, so is it kind of like a rotation, or do you have like set positions? But I mean, like you said, you can kind of do all of it, but how does like your rotation, like subbing, like how does beach work? I guess like positionally and just kind of like overall.
Yeah. Well, in beach, it's like a hockey subbing, so that you sub on the fly. There's strategy to that, of course. But it's kind of, if you ever watch futsal, the way that there's movement, like you're filling spaces all the time.
Right.
But you are never just caught as like always high all the time. Like hands, like you find yourself a lot high, but you also find yourself getting the ball from the goalkeeper
Yeah.
and then starting the play and
Yeah.
having to defend. So as you're filling those spaces, you're having to play all the different positions. Like you can't just not defend and beat. Like, think about it. There's 8 players on the field compared to 22. You cannot hide.
Yeah.
There's no hiding on this with that many players. You have 4 players on the pitch. When you're tired, everyone knows you're tired. When you're not getting back, everyone knows you're not getting back. Where you have players like in the 11v11 game that can kind of make up for those things in ways. So yeah, like when you like me, I'll kind of start in the back. I like to start play a lot, but like I'll find myself up front and I will be like shooting and throwing bicycle kicks and like things like that. And
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
so fun.
you get to be more creative. That's my only problem with center back. It's very, you can't get like stuck in it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so that's fun. You get to be creative too and like score goals and be in the attack. That's really cool.
Mhm.
I like that.
It's so fun. And that's like, I do like love the mentality and like stopping goals, like for sure. And that's what I think makes us such great players is if you have that side of you, that it really does like take you away from, or what's it called? Sets you apart from other players. Now, if you have an attacking side too, that's like, when you're a coach, you're looking for players who have that mentality of like, they want to get back and they're so pissed that they lost the ball. So to have that and then add it, it's just like,
Yeah.
Oh,
I feel like you
yeah.
guys both have like the same mental, like this is why I say you guys are like so similar though. It's because you guys like the way you play is like very similar. Like you guys both like you find a way to win, and half the time that is like being defensive minded of like I've seen you both like block like some crazy shots. I'm like, how did you just block that shot? Like there's no way I could have done that. I would have flinched for sure. But like but then like you guys also dig deep and like okay, like it's also on me to find a way to win. So I feel like that's where like both of you are very similar in that way.
Right.
So it's really
center backs.
I know.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of shout outs, so you gotta do it.
I know, seriously. Which honestly, to bring up that point, there needs to be defensive awards.
Yeah.
Like in grass and in beach, futsal. Like I know everything's like attacking. It's like how many goals, how many of this? I'm like, how about how many assists someone has?
Yeah.
Goals and then a defensive player.
Yeah.
There needs to be awards
Yeah.
for all
There
of
needs
it.
to be like block shots. Like block
Yeah.
shots, like tackles, like instead of like goals and assists and stuff, there needs to be, and we do have those stats. So it's like I feel like easily could like look at people's stats and be like, oh, this is a defensive player of the year. Like
100%. Like if you don't get scored on, you can't lose.
Yeah.
So like
I feel like the one thing, yeah, with Brass has been awesome is with Naomi Girma has been so much, rightfully so much attention, like for how good she is defensively. She
I
is,
love that.
oh my gosh, the best. I mean, she's unbelievable to watch. And I luckily got to play with her this last year and like train with her, and she's just so good. And yeah, and like her winning like US player, like whatever grass player of the year as a defender. I think it was the first time in like 30 years or something that a defender had won it. So we were like, finally, some defenders are getting
that's big time.
Yeah, just crazy.
Yeah. So Allie, how, like, I know I've heard briefly on how you transitioned from grass to beach, but maybe you can tell everybody else that's listening. So I know you so right after college you graduated, and then I think you said you played semi-professionally, right? So maybe you can share kind of that journey on how it went from going from grass to beach.
Yeah. So after college, I experienced a little bit of a burnout and just needing some time. And I was going to go across the country to go live in California because that's where I wanted to be after college. So I did do that. I went to California and I started kind of like what we call like the muggle life of like just, I tried a job at Nordstrom's and no, okay. No, wearing flats for an entire day was not okay. That is like okay. And I was like in a high-end department. And let me tell you,
I cannot picture you doing
I went to the interview with a cute outfit and I was like, I don't think I can like maintain this. I got hired because of a cute outfit and now I'm like, what do I wear?
Oh my
Like I already wore my one cute outfit.
Yeah, like one like really nice. Oh my gosh. So I yeah, so I like literally worked there probably for like 3 months or something. Like it did not last long until I found my first coaching job. And like in the midst of that, like I went through some like major depression. I had like major lows because I was like, who am I without my sport? Because that was my entire life was that. And when that's gone, I'm just like, what is my worth without this? You know what I mean? Like there's people see me as Allie Hall, like plays like great soccer player doing this, da 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 da. And then I'm like, okay, if that's not here, I don't even know. Like, what is this? So I had like some major lows like during that time. And in that, I was like, okay, I think I'm not done yet playing. Like I just needed like some time. And then I kind of like found again, like, oh, okay, I want to play again. So then I think I don't know what WPSL is, that considered semi-pro? I think that's semi-pro, right?
Yeah, I think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get back into this and I'm gonna go like try out for this WPSL team. So at the time it was kind of like just starting, not trying to age myself again, but like honestly, like this pro stuff like just kind of was starting when we were coming out, right?
Yeah.
Kind of crazy how much like it is exponentially grown like ridiculously fast. It's amazing. I love it. So like went to this WPSL practice, it was great. I was like, oh, this is great. So got asked to come back, yada yada. And then literally in hands, we've talked about this, but like that day I went to go see my friend like they worked at a winery and we're like going out to dinner and we were driving somewhere and like the car was like going off the road and we swerved and like flipped the car and I was thrown out of the window, he was thrown out of the window, car flipped and like I was like I was just out like down the road, like I cracked my skull, like broke my nose, just had like lacerations on my back, like all these things, like I was out cold. And it's hard to talk about just because I put it under the rug like so much and I like try not to, I don't know why, I just try to think about it. It's like very traumatizing. Even when I talk about it again, I can't believe that happened. But yeah, like I was out cold and I like woke up in an ambulance and then I was in the hospital. I'm like getting like my hair shaved off, like staples and like just crazy like experience. And I was like in the hospital for like a week and a half or so or more. I can honestly do not know how long I was in there. I can still say to this day, I haven't even asked questions. Like I was in there for a while. And then I just remember kind of like getting up for the first time and like trying to like walk. And that took me out for like a year. And that was like right when I was going back into like I miss the game. And so I was, yeah, the brain or my brain thankfully was not like pierced or like bleeding or anything like that. And but it was like a hardcore, like I don't know, what is it called? Concussion, I guess, for like an entire year.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, and it was like it was really it was hard. Along with that, it was just like so many other things that came with it. So after I started like coming out of that, like someone had asked me to come play beach, like in Santa Cruz, it was just like a fun tournament. And so I went to go play and it was fun and whatever. It's kind of like one of those things where you're having like beers on the side type of deal. And we played, and then our teammates Janae and Louisa, they went overseas to go play, like in this Euros tournament. And they came back and they're like, guys, this is like a legit sport. Like like seriously, like we need to make a team and we need to go to Turkey. Like there's a tournament called World Winners Cup in Turkey that which we just went to in Italy.
Yeah.
That just happened for this first time again, or it's the second time that I got to go is the Italy tournament because there was like COVID.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, dang.
Yeah, the first one was Turkey. And so we're all like, whatever, let's go. So we make the team, we trained and everything. We go to this tournament. We're playing Russian national team players. We're playing Brazilian national team players, Portuguese, Spanish, and we're playing these teams. And I'm like, what the hell is this? First of all, we go in and we're like these American girls who are just like running everywhere. And we're playing like these Russians who are very good, by the way. And like you wouldn't even know because I mean, they don't have beaches, like they're very landlocked and they're fantastic. And in that moment, I was like, I want to be good at this. Like I want to fully go in. And I was just like, I'm gonna like just give my life to this again, like the way I did with grass. And I'm just gonna go full all in for beach because like this is amazing. It's new. I'm finding this different newfound joy. And I feel like a kid again who like wants to just like be good at something and learn how to flick the ball and learn how to bike. And I'm like, okay. So after Turkey, I literally like just I was on the beach trying to learn how to flick, watching videos, trying to figure everything out. Like I'd never been like that in my life. Like, and not to toot my own horn, but when I was younger, like it was like more natural. Like I was good at the game. Like I didn't put a ton of work in. I mean, we put a lot of work in like practice, but like outside on my own, I did too, actually, with my dad. But I could have done a lot more. This, I was like, oh, I want to do like get on the beach. I want to get more fit. I want to learn how to do this. I want to watch games. Like, what is this? And in that time they had made like a national team too. The men have had a team for years. We had a national team just made. And like they had just gathered some girls for a tournament and then like known names that had been playing for a while. And then I don't know, it was like a year or two later, they made a team to go to Russia and they were choosing from tournaments that the national team coaches like went to go watch and chose players. And that was the first tournament that I went to for national team. And yeah, the game just sparked me again. I like found the love in the game again because it became a job. And I was like, did I like playing? I know I did. And I
Yeah.
love competing. I love the pressure. I love playing with my team. And but like I like the real love that makes you a better player was gone. Like I was just like this robot doing it and like doing what I was supposed to do. But for goodness sake, if I had the love that I have now for the beach, like then I would have been like twice the player that I was even because I would have been like had more confidence and like had fun with it and like had more swag in my even more. I'm not gonna say I didn't have swag in my play, so I'm gonna say even more swag in my play.
Yeah.
If the joy was there, you know what I mean? So that was kind of my journey.
Yeah, dude.
Beach.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, thank you for being like so vulnerable on here. I think like sharing that story, obviously, I know that probably was not easy for you to like hear yourself say out loud. So thank you for sharing that. I think to me, like I've told you this before, but seriously, dude, like you are so badass. Like I see you as like, no, seriously, I'm just like you fucking sorry, beep that out. You went through I got too passionate.
PG-13.
No, what'd you say? I'm about to break the internet. um, no, but seriously, like you went through this period of time where, like, for a lack of better words, like you could have died. Like,
Mhm.
and you literally like now are like the captain of the US national team. And you're like, not only are you the captain, but you're also like you've grown helped to grow a whole sport like on the women's side. Like that is wild, you know? Like I mean, I look at you and I'm just like, wow, like that is just crazy to me. And even when I'm playing next to you, like I love playing with you as like a player, but I'm just like this I can't believe that like you've done all this. And like for me, like you're helping pave the way. Like for me, like I came in and like there probably would be no Cali beach soccer. I obviously don't I know everybody's been a huge part of it, but you've been a huge part of that too. And to help create like this professional environment and for people like anyone that comes into that plays with you, like they like immediately want to play beach soccer because you're helping like cultivate this environment that's like makes people like they can feel your passion, like they can feel like the passion around the sport. And so to me, like seeing everything you've been through, like I feel like, and I'm sure you've dealt with this in a lot of ways, but it's like maybe all of this was like supposed to bring you here. Like I'm not sure, you know, but I'm just saying like it just really feels like this kind of funneled you into this like section of your life where now you are making like such a huge impact on a different part of the sport, you know? So, I mean, thank you for being vulnerable about that. But yeah, I think like your story is just incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just add on to that and really quick, just
Yeah.
something also that I was gonna say, Ali, obviously, I mean, so inspirational. That's unbelievable. I had no idea that
Mhm.
happened. I truly, I mean, I don't even know how you did that, how like I just am like, there's no way that I could go from that like traumatic of an injury to, yeah, being in kind of a spot where like you don't know if you want to play anymore to an injury like that. I mean, I can't imagine how hard it was to come back and look at everything that you've accomplished. It's truly, I mean, incredible, unbelievable. But I also was going to say that I think also there's a lot of credit due to you in the fact that every single beach soccer player that I've talked to, just like from knowing Hannah and that I've met, have all told me about the incredible environment on the US national team and on the Cali Beach soccer team or beach team, excuse me. And I think that is all credited to the leadership. And every environment that you're in, like every team environment, like whether that's whatever sport, an office, a business, whatever the environment is all comes from leadership. It always comes from the top down. So I think it's such a testament to you and your leadership ability and your willingness to make everyone feel involved and included and want to grow the game and love the game. And I think that your passion for it is so clear and evident, and it just trickles down to everybody around you and everyone that knows you. So I think, yeah, it's just incredible, truly.
Well, thank you so much. I have to say, like, first of all, thank you so much for those kind words. I'm not great at taking those.
It's okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it's important to mention that, you know, I have a co-leader with me, Janae, Sensory Warp, and she's a fantastic leader. She's been an incredible leader for me as well. And, you know, I'm so lucky to have like all of us are a group of leaders. It's like everyone brings like this just like this energy that we're able to cultivate like this entirety of how things work and having that inviting environment, but having that like, you know, badass mentality and bringing people in. So, you know, of course, like, I always have to mention like that everyone has been a huge part of this. I'm like the passion girl. Like I like for sure I'm like such a hyper, like because I absolutely love it. And I think that people will I think that kids who are playing right now, I think players that are playing right now for the WPSL, they should be coming and playing all types of the sport. And so like I really hope that it trickles into that too, because we could have like the best team in the country. Like Shy, I'm just waiting for you. That is right when the time is right. But I feel so lucky to be in this space because like having a passion in life, like people don't always get this. And we as athletes have been able to like go this route that is just so unconventional and not only that, as women, like we're athletes, we're doing unconventional things. Like you guys are starting a BT, like your BTB, like that's so awesome. Like you're doing such an amazing job. Like seriously, amazing. Which Meg's interview was hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
That was amazing. But like, you know, like I'm coaching and I remember for so long, I'm thinking like, you know, I'm like, is this the route I'm going to go? Like, or like, when am I going to have a real job? Like like, what's my career? Like, what are, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then finally I'm like sitting here, I'm thinking like, this can be it. We can do this, like all of us together and as females, and like we can grow a sport, be at the beginning, like the freaking 99ers. Like they grew grass, literally. It's just like a different part of the game. And like we're sitting here at the beginning of this like little dynasty being made with beach. And it's so cool. It really is, because I'm telling you, the US Americans would love watching beach soccer, and because it's still soccer, but it's like this guy put it a perfect way. He was like, beach soccer is like watching a highlight reel over and over, because like it's so like there's something that happens all the time. Then you have a bicycle kick, which like in grass, if a bicycle kick happens, you already know it's on every news channel.
Yeah, so true.
And it's like an average bicycle. I'm just kidding, but like it's just, yeah. Anyways, like I know Hands, like I think it's big time that you've come into this. Like I've been so stoked that you've been a part of this and totally like you're like bought in. I'm like, yes, come on, bring it in.
I
She's
know. Oh,
really reeling them in.
yeah, we're just waiting on Shy. I know. No, I mean, it's like, how could you not though? Like, I feel like, well, Allie was my roommate the first camp I went to, so she definitely was the passion girl saying like, "Isn't this amazing?" And I'm like, "Yes, it is amazing."
We're traveling the world,
Yeah.
representing our country,
hmm
and we're playing the sport that we played our entire lives with no shoes on in the sand on a beach. When you walk into your first stadium, remember when you walked in and you're like, whoa, like there's just sand in the midst of all these stands, and we're just gonna like
Yeah.
soccer out here. Like, what?
Oh
This is
my
so
gosh.
dope. Like, so
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
And like in El Salvador, I think that was probably a big moment for me being like, well, I went to the Florida tournament and I was like, this is amazing. I love this. Like this is like we're playing on the beach. There's music playing the whole game. Everybody in the beach community is so overwhelmingly welcoming. Like everybody wants to know everybody and like cheer each other on. Like the guys and the girls, everyone's always like supportive of each other, and so like there was that aspect of it. Obviously the game is so fun, like it's just like you said, like I feel like we're playing in a highlight reel all the time. We're like, oh dang, that was sweet, like all the time. Yeah, exactly. But and then we went to El Salvador, and that was like my first international tournament with the US team, and going to see like I don't even know how many fans we had there, but maybe like I mean not for us specifically, more for like the El Salvador team, but I mean that stadium is packed and they love it and they're like screaming and passionate and music's bumping and like you're like, "Whoa, my gosh, like I
yeah.
am playing in a professional game right now." Like so yeah, people in the US just haven't seen it like in that environment where it's definitely a professional sport, you know.
Well,
So
yeah, I think people think it's like this, it's still like this, oh, you're playing beach for fun. I'm like, okay, yes, it's fun. but like they're saying it in a sense of like, oh, it's just like this like little thing that you're patting on the side, like whatever. Like, of course you can have pickup and it's fun on the side, yada, yada, but I'm like, you're not seeing it for like what it really is. Like, this is like, people are really good at this. Like, there are players who will come from the WPSL and come play beach, and they might not be good at beach just because they're amazing at grass. And there can be beach players who maybe their forte wasn't full on grass, but they have a different touch on them in beach that works. Like, they have a different patience in the way that they see the game, and they have different touch that wasn't able to be highlighted in grass because they were in a different position, whatever it is. But it's like, not everyone can just come on the sand and do that. I think that's a very misconception. I'm like, no, you can't just, I'm like, I'm not saying USA players from grass, come play beach. WPSL players, come play. I invite it. I want that. I would love that more than anything, because like, first of all, it'd be freaking fun. Like, great soccer players coming on and playing. And two, like, come see what this is. You'll be humbled by it real quick. But then like, you're either like, oh, F this, I can just go, I don't want to train anymore. Or you're like, okay, this is hard, I want to get good. You know, one or the other. But it is a pro sport, and it's an incredible sport, and it takes a lot of different skill sets, and yeah, it can be used both. Yeah. So
Yeah. Do you think that playing beach is beneficial for players, like when they go back to playing on grass? Like, how, like if you were to tell somebody how it's beneficial for grass game, like what would be some like key things you would say are beneficial to that?
yeah. Yeah, I was just about to say 100% it helps with your grass game. I mean, obviously, undoubtedly, if you can do something in the sand fitness wise, you can do it on the grass. Helps with your explosive movement, because if you're doing explosive things on the sand and you have like that resistance already, when you go on the field, it's, I mean, you see like Real Madrid and all these teams, like, do go train the sand. Like Messi, like injury training in the sand, you know. But also when it comes to the game, sand brings this different IQ that you have to figure out, which is like slowing down a game, which you need in the grass game too. So like, think about it, like, hands, when you made the transition from grass to beach, you go on and you right away, you feel like, and now I'm saying in general, but you feel like it's on grass, so everything's like,
Oh yeah, you got to be
you want
like,
to go, and then you just exhaust yourself. Like,
yeah,
point blank, it is hard to do everything in the sand. So you have to have like a different type of play where it's like fast, and then how do I slow it down? And now I'm like looking at options. Okay, now I have to use this technique. Okay, I'm going to move the ball with my feet a little bit here. I have to get it out of a divot. Like, your synapse, like with your eyes too, like there's divots. You're like looking, and you start to get this as you play more, when you see it go onto a mound, hitting the ball, or hey, oh, I can take a quick touch here. Oh, it's in a divot, I have to flick it up. Okay, how do we take that into the grass? Think about this. You're a player, a player's foot is in front of you, or like right here trying to defend you, and all of a sudden you've been playing beach and you're used to a ball in a divot to flick it up. What if you all of a sudden you see that and you're able to flick it over that person's foot and beat them? That's like a whole nother technique you wouldn't have had or been able to see quickly if you just played the grass game, right? You would have kept it on the ground. They're coming in for a 50-50. But could you imagine like having those little things that you bring into the grass? Like, you saw, and again, you were talking about when you went and played with your pro team, where there are certain moments that you saw some of the beach stuff come out where you're like, whoa, I never did this.
yeah, no,
But it works.
yeah.
Was juggling around defenders.
Oh I know, which is funny because I don't even juggle when we play beach, but
but it just brings like another, like a little zest to your game.
Yeah, I've been saying that too, because obviously, like, I've never played beach, but I've watched you guys play, and I've always thought the same thing. I'm like, if you can play on the grass and you can like pass a ball like to your teammate, or sorry, on the beach, and you can pass a ball to your teammate on the beach, and you can like flick the ball up to yourself, you can dribble on the beach, you can do with like just like obviously the terrain of the beach. If you're able to do that stuff in that environment on that texture, then like I feel like you'd get back onto the grass and be like, this is so easy.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be like, oh,
Right.
I'm gonna pass this ball to my teammate and it's going to go exactly where I want it to go.
Yeah.
Or like,
No,
I'm going to shoot this ball and it's going to go exactly where I want it to go. Or like, it's way more predictable, I feel like, on the grass. Like the beach is like, pass it, hits it, like you said, hits like a divot or whatever and like sprays all over the place. Mm-hmm. So I feel like even that, in that sense, like your technical ability would just get so much better.
Yeah. And then like filling pockets of space, like, but definitely like the technical, even hitting a ball. So like when you flick and volley, that works on your timing. That works on like your body, like staying balanced in your body to shoot, like even when you're shooting off the ground in the sand, like when I was starting, like I still like sometimes like fall over after shooting because you're on ground that's uneven.
Yeah.
So it helps so much. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, even what we were talking about earlier with just like the creativity component of it too, like you were saying too. And I agree, in 11s on the grass, you can get like really stuck in a position or like really set and like, this is my position, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is like what I have to do for my team, and like I'm either going to defend or I'm going to attack, and you just have like certain roles that you're supposed to do. But I feel like in beach, you get to do all of the things, and then obviously then that helps when you get back onto the grass because you're thinking in a more creative way, just like about the game in general too. So
gosh, that's one of my favorite parts of it, honestly. Like, because goalkeepers are scoring in sand,
right?
Like they're not just scoring like, oh, we're chipping a ball over. Like they're actually putting themselves in positions to score a goal. And not to mention, like, goalkeepers go play on the sand. Like there could not be a better training. I mean, they try to emulate it on the grass where they have like those like things, that like go on the sand. You have to get up. You have to like get up off from the sand. It like hits this side, goes this way. You have to like have quick like reflexes. That's like big time for that.
Yeah. And I feel like too now, like especially in the professional game, like pro coaches want goalkeepers that are able to use their feet a lot more. Like they want their goalkeepers to be very technical with their feet. And if you could be technical in the sand as a goalkeeper, like goalkeepers are flicking it up to themselves, they're juggling it, they're shooting, they're like they're distributing, they're a huge part of the game. And so I think like, yeah, for a goalkeeper to be able to play in the sand, I think that would help them so much going back to grass, like just being able to be technical and problem solve in those situations.
Yeah.
But with that, we could talk about, how much we love beach soccer forever. What do you think, like, so I guess next week we're gonna have you on our last workshop. So we're really excited to have you on there and talk a lot about leadership. What do you think are a few things that you've learned? So you're the US national team captain, and also you've consistently been captain at Cali Beach for a while now. What are a few like key things that you've learned, like being a leader on those teams? I know obviously, especially with the US representing the crest, that comes with a lot of pressure. Obviously we're all very supportive of you, but it does come with a little bit of pressure, right? So I think maybe describing like how you're able to navigate that too.
Yeah, I think, it's been a learning experience for sure. Having a role that people are trusting you in and looking to you for certain things, there does come pressure in that. But it's honestly something I take with a lot of like honor, because it's something to take on your back, but I like to do that because like it just, I don't mind it, I guess. It's really but it's one of the number one things, and something that we'll talk about next week, is earning trust from your players. Like every single player is different. Everyone has a different personality, different needs, different communications, different backgrounds. And being able to, that's the number one, is gaining trust of your teammates, getting to know your teammates in ways, observing the situations and how people react to certain types of communication types or leadership types. Like I've not done everything right whatsoever. It has been a total learning curve of like, okay, I've tried this route, let's say, and then it's the reactions or the feelers are just not not where we needed to be, you know? Okay, so how do we do this in different ways so that everyone's on board? It's like getting that buy-in of everyone's like on that same page, is like has that goal in mind and like keeping it there. And again, like I said, Jay has been someone who's been next to me, and we've done that together, and being able to like cultivate that space of complete trust and buy-in is like the biggest thing. When you have one player off or two players off that like have their own agendas, that's like, okay, how do you adjust to that? But like, how do we get these players to like buy into the goal of the entire team? And so trust is big time. And then another thing that we'll chat about is that leading without a title, you know, regardless of having the title of having a captain or the band around, like every single person on the team is a leader. And going like having that humble type of feel of like, I don't need, just because I have this brand on right now does not mean that this person and that person is not leading me every step of the way too. That's big time. And in that, it's like, just because maybe I'm not the person saying like those outward words right in that moment, like I'm leading through in a different space. Like that is something that's really important, because not everyone's going to have that title, but like you are your own captain for everyone else too. So being able to have that means that you are being your best self, because you are leading without, you don't need to have that title on your shoulders in order to be like someone that's like building somebody up. If everybody on a team was like, okay, it's just that person, like we only listen to this person or these two people, then like that's, first of all, a lot of pressure for whoever is in that position, right? But like I want everybody to know that like they are like a leader to me too, you know? And so being able to have that space of like, okay, like today you're taking the reins, like I need you. Being able to take that power away from yourself for a second of like the name, like no, like I need you right now. I need your voice. I think is really important, because now everyone has a role, like feels like they have, well, everyone does, but like they also have that feeling of like ownership of what they're giving off to everybody else as well. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like a hard thing, but there's a book, there's actually a book called Leading Without a Title that one of my teammates gave me, Lou gave me, and it's an incredible book, and I would recommend it to for everyone to read, because it doesn't just come with the name, it comes in every single thing that you do, every single conversation that you have. But yeah, I think, you know, I hold that with honor, but it's just like, it's hard to put into words sometimes. It's just, it's like having a family, and then your family, like just like, it's just the buy-in. It's buy-in, and it's great when you feel that. And I actually feel like our team has really come to a really amazing point of that. And I chalked it up to a lot of the leadership of like many. Yeah, you take those reins and you do the best with it, and you make sure that everyone has a voice, because they do, and go from there, you know.
Yeah. No, totally. I think, yeah, it's almost like that saying, like, the pressure is a privilege, you know? So I feel like for you, like, you, every time I ask you, like, are you nervous? You're like, no. Like, she's just like, so, and then I'm like, okay, I'm not nervous then. Like, she's not nervous, I'm not nervous. But no, but seriously, like I get what you're saying though. Obviously, like yes, you are this incredible leader, but I think that's what leaders do. They create an environment that then everybody feels like they can lead, you know? So like then it takes that pressure off of you too, of like we have so many leaders on our team. And I think that is something that's very unique to the beach soccer world that I haven't experienced really in a different soccer setting, is that I mean, we have these meetings, right? And like everybody uses their voice, like everybody's speaking up. Obviously, we have a lot of coaches on our team too. So helps. Like everybody is, you know, very vocal. But I think everybody is also really like willing to hear each other's side, and it's always like very healthy the way that we're communicating about things. And I think that does start with like the environment that you and like obviously Janae and our coaches and you know, those types of leaders create, but and it trickles down to everybody else, and now everybody feels like they're a leader too. So yeah, I mean that's definitely something unique to, I've never been in another soccer environment like that, honestly.
Well,
But
it's hard. I mean, you can have a bunch of players like on a grass team, beach team who are just a bunch of messies, like just incredible. But like if you don't have like all these minds that work together and are able to like have a strong family going into things, like it doesn't matter. All those things are useless. And it's taken time to get here where it's starting to, it's like really like the buy-in is all there. We're not like on different pages. Like it's it takes time, but leadership is like a really huge factor in creating a successful team. Like it is point blank. And people can take it in different routes, and we've had people who have led us who are like, oh, they have this name and all of a sudden they change. I'm like, what's happening? Like, why are you yelling at me? Like I followed you before, but now you're yelling at me. Like chill. But yeah, we have a great space.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think something that you said that I think is so spot on is encouraging people to find like their most authentic self, and everyone has their own leadership style. Like like you and I and like Hannah, like none of us are going to lead in the same way. Like, because we're not the same. Everyone's different. Everyone's their own person. And none of us are going to take criticism the same way. None of us are going to take like communication or some type of, I don't know, like whatever, suggestions or whatever the same way. Like, so I think it's so important for people. Like, I think a lot of people like to categorize people into like leaders and followers. And it's like, that's not true. Like, that's not the case. It's just like everyone is leading in their own way. Everyone has the ability to lead in their own way. Like, maybe not everyone is the person that's like the rah, like giving the speech before the game, but like some of the best leaders that like I've been around, like aren't that person. Like,
Yep.
they're the person that like makes you feel like you can be whoever you want. Like you can come to show up to practice or show up to whatever and be like the best version of yourself. Like, I think it's just finding ways for people to feel comfortable being the best versions of themselves. And like, I just think so important in getting a team that's like connected. And like you said, like having everyone on the same page and kind of having everyone willing to like run through a brick wall for you, because it's like, yeah, like this girl is asking me to do this, but like I know that she would do that for me too. So like, yeah, I'm gonna do whatever I need to do because I want to, like, and making people exactly like you said, feel like valued and feel like they're a part of like the drive and the success of the team. Like, I just think is so spot on and so helpful for people to hear that like maybe are told like they're not a leader. Like maybe they've been told their whole life that like, oh, like you're not like the one with the captain's band. It's like, okay, that's fine. But like, how can I find it in myself to like still lead people around me in the best way that's the most authentic for myself? So I just think that's really cool. I really like the way that you said that.
That's how it should be, honestly. And there's been times when I've had that band and I'm like, and there's like a time where I don't have the words. I don't have the words like before a game to say, like because we're all still our own selves, right? And like sometimes we need to figure out like what we need as a player to be the best player, like for the team too.
Yeah.
So like in those moments, I'm like, oh, am I not a good leader because I don't have something to say right in this moment? Or like, is this okay that we're silent right now and that we're just in ourselves? And that is me being my authentic self, because like for you to be a great leader too, it's like you have to be your authentic self, and that helps other people be their authentic self. And so like you said, like it doesn't come in this outward way all the time. Like I've had leaders that don't talk very much, but like just do like their hard work and like dedication is enough for me to be like, I just respect the hell out of that person. You know what I mean? And so I think like finding that route and being okay with like just because you've seen huge speeches by leaders before and like all these things, like that doesn't mean they do that all the time. Like there's different ways to lead in your space. It doesn't look like one thing or another. It's your own way. And that's like your authentic way. Nobody did anything in life trying to be someone else. Nobody like rose above and like did extraordinary things that no one else did by doing what other people did. They were their complete self. And that's why they ended up being where they are. So I think everyone has the ability to do that, but it's so hard in this world these days when we're being told to be one way, act one way, all those types of things. So authenticity is everything.
Yeah. Damn, I need to hear that today.
Here's your
I
Wednesday
will be
motivation.
myself.
I feel like I'm gonna run through a brick wall now. I'm like, all right,
Let's go.
where do I need to be? Where are we going?
I feel hyped up, honestly.
Me too.
No, but I feel like these are such important conversations, and obviously all three of us, I know we could just chat for hours if we really wanted
Yeah,
to.
for sure.
But for the sake of everybody else's time, I think we're gonna wrap this up. But Allie, thank you so much for, like I said, being vulnerable on here, sharing your story, and just sharing so many like key tips and tricks. I think especially towards the end there about talking about authenticity, that is so huge in this space. And so thank you so much for sharing that. And we're so excited to have you on our call next week. Dare to Lead with Allie. You guys, everybody pop in. Yeah, and that's basically all we got today. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex. You're the best.
Yeah, and thanks for wearing a Beyond the Baller shirt.
Yeah, shout out.
Let's go.